good, baby.
All right, so to loosen it up, let's play Two Truths and a Lie.
All right.
All right, I'll go first. You guys ready for my 3 truths? I've never had a cat. I've been to Ireland for St. Patrick's Day, and I have over 50 pairs of Nikes.
50 pairs of Nikes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like shoes. So which one is the lie?
You've been to Ireland for St. Patty's Day.
Okay, what do you think?
Same.
Nope.
What?
I've never had a cat. I was in St. Patrick's Day last year. I was in Ireland last year for St. Patrick's Day. You both got
You
big
should know
shots.
that.
Wait, I thought that's why it's a lie. You said I've never been.
Wait, what?
Oh.
Did you say you never
Did you say
went?
you've never?
I've been to Ireland.
Oh.
At least
I
that's
thought you
what
said I've never.
No,
been.
I've never had a cat.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I
You both got a drink. You both got a
He
drink.
wants to take it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mine is
Cheers.
really random.
Wait, so what is the lie then?
The lie is you've never had a cat.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nope, that's the truth.
Hmm.
I have less than 50 pairs of Nike.
What?
What?
Oh, okay.
That's a lot
We
of
still
shoes.
lost.
Yeah. All right. But anyways, go ahead.
My turn?
Yep.
All right. I won my elementary school spelling bee. I ran the fastest sprint of my entire elementary school. My 4th grade teacher was my neighbor.
Ooh, those are good.
What was the first one?
I won my elementary school spelling bee.
What's the second one?
I ran the fastest sprint of my entire elementary school.
So you're like the fastest kid in school.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Your
And then
Teacher
your
was the
fourth
fourth
grade
grade.
my
teacher
4th
is
grade
your.
teacher was my neighbor.
I think the lie is your 4th grade teacher is the neighbor.
and I think the lie is the spelling bee.
Nope, you both lost. The lie is I was second fastest in my entire school.
Wow.
Who was faster than you?
I don't remember. Some
I like
kid.
that you still
Shout out
remember
to that
that.
person.
Yeah.
In
I had to
elementary.
dig-
Sounds personal.
dig back.
Wait, that's funny because I also won the spelling bee in elementary school.
Yeah, that was the highlight of
Do you
my
know
life
what
when I was-
word? Oh, what word did the person lose?
I don't remember.
Oh,
Do you remember your
That's
word?
so
yeah.
long ago.
They lost because they spelled government wrong.
They forgot the N.
And
Ah,
Yeah.
after gubber.
government.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That was a good round. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. So here are mine. I've danced as a backup dancer for Bruno Mars. I can eat 15 Pringles at once. I'm a popular poster on Reddit that only talks about spirituality and psychology.
That's the lie.
I'll agree with him.
The lie is that I haven't been a backup dancer for Bruno Mars.
Okay. Well,
That was a good one.
cheers. That was a really good
That
one.
was a good one.
So let's talk about
So
this
random.
Reddit page.
Oh,
What's
we're
up
gonna
with
talk
this
What
about
about
that,
the
right?
Pringles?
I mean-
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
15 Pringles is a lot.
Low, yeah.
You haven't
Like
tried
that's
16?
like that big. What?
Have you tried 16? No.
No.
Yo, bring the Pringles
Yeah.
in. Bring the Pringles in. Setting some new records out here on the show. There's gonna be a lot of big debuts on the show today.
Yep, yep.
16 Pringles, career announcements.
Reddit.
Dang.
Yeah, so Reddit. What's up? What's the deal with this? When did you start this?
I don't know. I think it's because like I'm super curious and there's some questions I want to ask that it's just too embarrassing to like say out loud. So I'll just ask on Reddit.
Okay.
And like I've gotten so many responses where like I don't know, it's kind of like an introvert's dream because you get to just talk as much as you want, ask as many questions as you want, and there's somebody out in the world that's going to answer them. But it's usually like relationship based, whatever psych questions I have, anything that I'm curious about when it comes to spirituality.
Very
And
cool.
so-
What's an example of a question that you asked?
So one of my most popular posts recently, I asked in the Ask Men and Ask Women forum, what are non-negotiables that you will look for in a partner, whether you're married or going to date again? And there's like hundreds and hundreds of people commenting like what went wrong in their past relationships, what's going wrong in their marriage right now, and if they were to start over, what would they do differently? And so it helps me kind of get like more data of what to look out for myself. And so, yeah.
Interesting. What's your non-negotiables?
Ooh.
I haven't thought of it
Yeah.
either. All right, never mind. We'll go to Reddit.
I know it's always like
We'll
a
see
deep
about Reddit.
question,
I'll
and
answer
we're
on
like,
Reddit.
hold on.
Yeah. But with that being said, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to episode 48 of the Spread Good podcast. My name is Brody Nicholas, back at it with Mr. Celebrate Life. How you doing?
What's up? I'm doing great. It's hot in here, but it's all good.
We're keeping cool.
Yeah.
We haven't drank on the pod in a while.
Special
two
day.
It's a
episodes.
special occasion because today we have Laker girl, former Rams cheerleader, and nutritionist Tiyah Ejan. How you doing?
Hey guys, I'm good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, thanks for being down for a fun day.
Yep.
Yeah, we haven't had a HQ drink day in a while.
Yeah, since the big episode with
The live
everyone.
audience?
Yeah, with
That's
the live audience.
That's fun.
But it's gonna be a interesting podcast as we're gonna analyze us. But before we get to that, yeah, you're a Laker cheerleader. Lakers are my favorite team. They've been my favorite team my whole life. How does it feel being a Laker cheerleader?
You know, it feels amazing. I think it's crazy because as a dancer, when you've been dancing your whole life, you view it as almost like something that's in your day to day, where someone who's not in the professional dance world thinks it's like so cool, and we're like, what? Like we're just dancing, you know? And so I think I always have to remember that it's such an awesome opportunity and such a blessing to be part of that. And I feel like now that I'm not on the team anymore, it's definitely, I appreciate it a lot more, and I'm able to see like, wow, that was such an awesome goal to achieve, and being able to dance for such a big organization has just been awesome. It's always been a dream of mine since I was little. Like I have videos of me like 3 years old, 5 years old in a Lakers shirt, just like twirling in the kitchen. And so it's cool to see like then and now. And
super
yeah,
cool.
it's awesome.
Yeah. There's like hundreds, thousands of people that try out every year.
Uh-huh.
Did you have to, like, once you were a Laker girl, you have to try out every year? Is that the whole thing?
Yeah, so every professional team, whether it's like Lakers, Cowboys, Rams, your contract ends after a year. So, you know, there's always new fresh faces, new talent. Every year they want to make sure there's like a new, just the best team out there. And so every year your contract ends and you have to re-audition.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot. Every year you have to gear up for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you had to say like goodbye to friends? Because,
Yeah.
that's super
It's sad, but we just know it's part of the process.
Yeah.
And I think you have little time to kind of feel bad, you know, it's like just enjoy your journey. And we all know that it's just part of the process. Like there's been times where I haven't made it back on other teams or just made it in general my first time. And so you just have to deal with rejection. And I think growing up in the dance world, it kind of sets you up for that because you're not always getting the spot you want. You're not always making the team that you want, even in high school, elementary school. So we're kind of conditioned to be okay with rejection. Yeah.
And how old were you when you started?
I was, I think, like 5 years old.
Started dancing or cheerleading?
Dancing, yeah.
How old were you when you started cheerleading?
So what's crazy is people think that Rams cheerleaders are cheerleaders where you're like stunting them and doing backflips, but in the professional dance world, it's just dancing.
Oh,
But they'll
okay.
just call us cheerleaders because most of our performances are strictly routines and choreography.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to ask any of us, like, do a backflip, we'd probably like eat shit.
Yeah.
We'd be like, I can only do a cartwheel.
So my sister cheered her whole
Yeah.
childhood, and I think it's so interesting. So there's really no professional cheerleaders, right? It kind of ends after college.
Yeah.
So what do most cheerleaders do? They just go dance for the professional teams?
I think they'll try. I mean, they have to definitely have good choreography.
Because it's two different sports,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. I feel like cheerleading is more tumbling.
Mhm.
Dancing is more like performance. Well, it's performance too, but just strictly choreography.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting.
Oh,
But
I didn't think about that.
no, because like, what do you do after college? You be the
Yeah.
best cheerleader.
Because
And
you don't
then-
see people on the court doing backflips or, you know,
Right, stunting and
or on the
stuff.
field. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. But it's cool you got to live out your whole childhood dream.
Yeah.
How
That's
long
fun.
were you a Laker girl?
Just one season.
Just one season?
Yeah.
And you were a Rams
for
cheerleader
3 seasons.
for 3 seasons?
Yeah.
Which one was harder?
Definitely Lakers because
there's
they
more.
demand more time. There's like 42 home games plus like 10 more if you make playoffs. And then with Rams, it's like 10 games.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As like a Laker girl or a Rams cheerleader, is it like you're practicing every day during the season?
I think we're putting in time every day. So we'll practice 2 days a week for like 3 hours. But, you know, a lot of us are really fit. So we'll work out every day. We have our own like hobbies, and it's usually something active or we're working full time. So it's nice that being on teams, it allows you to have another life outside of it and still like enjoy your hobbies.
So people have like other careers while they're dancing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah, I
cool.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
thought
there's
you
like
guys,
full-time or not full-time. They adjust depending on the schedule, but nurses, there's teachers, behavioral therapists, people in law school.
is there ever any like conflicts? Like I can't make this game?
No, I think once you make the team, you kind of try your best to have your job adjust. And I think because it's such an amazing opportunity, a lot of jobs or teachers have said like, oh, you know, we'll accommodate. Yeah. Because it's kind of like if you were a teacher, a professor or something, and you had a student that was like an NBA player and they're like, hey, I'll still turn in my homework, but I have a game tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, don't worry.
And it's also, football is during the weekends, basketball is at night. So it's not, you can have a career and do that.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So a question I've always thought about is there any like super strict rules on like players dating dancers? So the rules like, no.
It's funny. That's always like the first question we get.
Every time you get an Uber and somebody says, how long have you been Ubering? Is it like that common?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that. All right. So
It's
I'll be that
because-
guy. I'm going to ask
yeah.
because I'm so curious.
I think, so I don't know if it's in our contract, like who even reads the contract, right?
Yeah, just sign
But
it.
like it's just probably in fine print somewhere. But I think there's just unspoken word because we know, like we're in the tunnel with them, we're like warming up with them, and we're not looking at each other. They're not looking at us. We're just in our zone. They're also about to play a game, so they're in their zone, and so are we. We're just like stretching, warming up. But there's been times where, like, if let's say there's an event outside of it, or if, like, when I went to the Super Bowl, there's a lot of events, and like we would be out and they're there, and it'd be like, hey, what's up? But that's it, because they all have wives, or we have boyfriends or husbands.
Right.
And yeah, there's been times where I'll just go out in LA and like they'll have like a table next to mine, and it's just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure a lot of other cheerleaders have different stories. Like I've had my own set of stories when they're like sliding in the DMs and stuff, but I'm not gonna
Got you. No
disclose
names.
who.
No names.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of drama right now with the Staffords. You
Oh,
guys
yeah.
heard about all
What?
that?
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's past stuff.
Like, okay.
Well, she came on a pod and basically she said that she hooked up with his backup quarterback
Oh my
in
God.
college. In
That's
college.
To make them jealous.
Yeah. So it's like 15 years ago or 10 years ago, but
Yeah,
it's
they have
like,
kids now. Why are you talking about that now?
I was
That's
just talking
so-
about cheerleaders dating.
She probably just
players.
wanted to get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Dang.
I don't know. I don't.
That's weird.
I'm against that.
What?
That she talked about it on a podcast in front of everyone.
I know.
That
That
she got kids. Now her kids are gonna.
Yeah. Well,
You were dumb.
Yeah.
yeah, that was silly. But yeah, no. So I guess that was my biggest thing, though. I thought it was in the contract, but it's really not.
Yeah.
So that means people
It might
can.
be.
You
She
just do
didn't-
it on
she
the
didn't
down
read it.
low.
She was- yeah,
I
yeah.
think if you're obviously not going to tell anybody until maybe after you're off the team.
Right.
I don't know if I haven't heard of anyone like hooking up or anything, but there's just like maybe just a casual hangout with other people or
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
yeah.
'Cause, yeah. So,
I never thought of that question, but
yeah.
I
I
could
came
see
in
why
ready.
people
I was
ask it.
wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So,
Yeah.
anyways, aside from
She
dancing,
said, anyways. No, it's okay. Ask whatever
have to
questions
switch.
you
well,
want.
Yeah.
this is
Switch
great.
the
I mean,
subject.
we gotta, hear it out.
Yeah.
We have a Laker girl right here.
Yeah, ask
that's
me
true.
any
Yeah,
questions.
I know you got questions.
Yeah,
Come on.
you can ask
I have
questions.
questions
Be
about
on.
the Lakers, but
Yeah, go ahead.
why do they suck?
Because they don't get to date the dancers.
No way. I think, okay, wait. Who is the coach?
He just got hired
Darvin
yesterday.
Ham? Or he got
coach.
fired?
Yeah.
I had a feeling he would get fired.
JJ Redick's the new coach.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, he just got hired yesterday. It was
Wow.
his birthday too.
Is that good for you?
Shout out JJ Redick.
I think that-
Oh.
I think that'd be cool to see because he's actually been in the he's actually a player.
yeah, he's a player. Yeah. He
He
was.
knows
a
the
player.
game.
Him
see.
and him and LeBron had a podcast, but now he has to end it because he's the coach. of the
LeBron
team.
would be able to get JJ as the coach.
Yeah.
Because LeBron just runs everything.
You about to get his son on the team too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about to be the LeBron James Lakers.
He runs LA.
Yeah. So I actually didn't watch Bronny play at all in college. Was he good? Did he play? Because he had the whole cardiac arrest thing, right?
He's okay. He's
didn't
good,
really
but
Have a lot of
he's
time.
projected to be a second round pick. So not one of the best players, but he's probably going to be a Laker and play with his dad.
Mhm.
I'm curious to know because I think this would be cool for you guys to kind of talk together rather than talk to me. But how, what made you guys click where it's oh, let's start a podcast? Because for me, if I have a girlfriend and we're just so synergistic, I'd be oh my God, let's start a podcast. Or if we work really well together, I would be oh my God, we would be so fun together getting to know people. What was it for you two?
It's such a great question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Wow.
You answer.
So we've known each other for years. It's been 6-7 years now. Actually, I went to
7
his
years.
wedding before I met him
Oh,
because I was dropping a friend off that he knew. It was this crazy
Yeah.
long story we've talked about in another episode. But yeah, we became friends 2 weeks before he got married. He has another company called Jet Set. So I was doing influencer posts for that and just traveling and creating content.
Mhm.
And then he heard about my charity and then we started doing the charity together. He heard about the charity. We started working on that. And then we started Spread Good Squad, which was making content, doing different things. And then the podcast idea, it was actually a year and a half ago. And I was going to start my own podcast called Power Hour with Brodi Nicholas, where I
Yeah.
had people come on and take 60 shots of beer with me. One shot every
Oh my
minute.
God.
And then talk about
That's
it.
crazy,
And then I
but
realized
fun.
my insurance probably doesn't cover that. So then I decided,
Yeah.
let's not do that. And then I really don't know how we decided to hop on a pod, but it's obviously worked out.
Yeah.
Do you have
it's
a
worked
different
out.
story than mine? How did this happen?
No.
I can't remember how the
I
pod
think
started.
I think you asked me if I wanted to be part of the podcast. And I was like, yeah, I'm down. I don't talk a lot, but I like to talk. And then I think our personalities are very, even from our letters, they're different, but they're very different.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's worked. Because
Yeah.
the other podcasts I listen to, it's usually a really loud guy and a really logical. I don't know,
Yeah.
breaking things down.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
ask the good questions, I say stupid things, and then, yeah.
And then we just keep drinking.
Yeah.
It's great.
Exactly.
Oh,
It's
okay.
been working.
That was a really
Nice.
good question. Thank you for
Yeah.
It is
asking.
a
Because
really good
I don't
question.
even know how we started doing this, but
Ooh.
Yeah, we are.
maybe you know, because that's the next topic.
Yeah.
I'll let you take the lead on this. What did we do this last couple of days?
All right. These last couple days, I had you guys take a personality test.
The MBTI.
MBTI. All right. So you asked me how I spread good throughout the community, and the first thing I thought was how I utilize the MBTI, which is the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. Did you guys know about that? You guys didn't know about it before I told you, right? Or you
I've
did.
heard little things.
I've heard about it, and I think I took a test maybe 10 years ago,
Okay.
but I didn't remember.
Okay. Yeah, so those that don't know, it's a personality assessment tool that categorizes people on 16 different personalities based on how they might make decisions, how they perceive the world, how they process information and stimulus around them. And so they are able to categorize that through something called cognitive functions. And I try to simplify it as much as I can because, even though I study it a lot, some people might know, what I'm cognitive functions, and I feel bad because I assume that they know what that is. So I'll try to explain everything in short. Yeah, so cognitive functions, when you think of cognition, it's the brain functions, how something works. So they explain the different functions based off how our brain is being used. So they categorize it with sensing, intuition, thinking, and feeling. So sensing would have to do with how we're taking in like objective data around us, really seeing the details in our world using our senses. So like our eyes, what we hear, what we taste, what we touch. And then intuition is really intuition, like it's something abstract that isn't like tangible. So it's patterns, possibilities. It's kind of like daydreaming,
Mm-hmm.
but not really. Just like making connections with certain things. And then thinking is all about like logic, real life facts. And then feeling is our values and how people are affected around us. So there's 8 different functions. I said 4, but they do like an introverted version and an extroverted version of each function. And then from there, there's different like stacks you can make. So with all of those functions, you could do like there's just different varieties, and that's what makes up a personality.
That's
So-
one of the 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, like you have your own function stack, you have your own function stack, I have my own function stack, and it kind of shows how we may, like, I don't want to say that is what you are because there's so many different factors that make up our personality, but it's basically showing what function we prioritize. So there's like a dominant one that we use basically naturally and all the time. And then the second one is next. It's like a sidekick. And then there's the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. What I like to do is, since the first 2 is something you use basically consciously and naturally, I like to help people be aware of the functions that they don't use as much and like the ones that they have to develop, because that would help them see their blind spots and show like, oh, I don't really utilize these functions as much, but if I did, I would be way more like empathetic, or I'd be way more aware of my surroundings, or I would be able to be more logical. And so once I know someone's like function stack, I like to break it down to them and be like, this is what I feel you can work on. But before I do that, I ask them questions, so I'm not like generalizing and categorizing them. So it's really like when I analyze someone, it's like a counseling session. Like I have to like sit down with them and like have a piece of paper and write everything
Are we
down.
about to do that right now or what?
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Have you looked at our stacks?
Yeah, I wrote down like your first 2.
Am I broken?
What?
Is that what you're about to tell me?
Would you, because since I can obviously talk about this for like 9,000 hours, would you rather me tell you what you can work on or you're good at?
What I'm good at, for sure.
And then
He
what I
wants
can work on.
words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I'm good at, for
What
sure.
you're good at?
Sure. I mean, I'm down to go on what I could work on.
Okay.
I think that's what this is all about.
All right. So let me see so I know what let me write it down.
I am ENFJ.
So you want to know what you're good, what you could develop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I also have a question I've been saving for this whole pod on this topic. I don't know if I should ask it now or if I should ask it. Well, I'll ask it now.
I'll ask.
Or
Okay.
you want
I think I should tell you
okay,
first. And
yeah,
then
that's
you.
good. All
Okay.
right.
So you are
ENFJ.
okay. FENI.
What is FENI?
I'll explain.
All right.
TENI. Okay. So I'll do you first.
All right.
So they abbreviate the functions by 2 letters. So like there's extroverted sensing, introverted sensing, extroverted feeling, introverted feeling, so on and so forth. You have TE and NI as your inferior functions. So TE is extroverted thinking and NI is introverted intuition. So those are the functions that you would need to develop to, I guess, achieve ultimate maturity and maybe a well-balanced life. That usually is developed through time and through like self-awareness. But what's good about the MBTI is like it kind of shows you in definitions like and tells you straightforward versus just you figuring it out. But anyway, so Yeah, so extroverted thinking is responsible for efficiency, productivity, being able to make decisions quickly based off of like what's going on in your surroundings.
Mhm.
Would you say that's something that you had to work on?
Yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. What is his things that he has to work on? NINTE? Or
So
SE?
he asked for his what he could do
Weaknesses.
better at.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't write his weaknesses.
Oh, okay.
Those are just the
The
top.
other things. Yeah.
Yeah.
My bad.
Would you? That's okay. Yeah.
I just
would you?
wasn't sure.
Would you say that?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Do you think you're still working on that?
Yes, but that leads me into my next question after you're done with
Okay.
this
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other function that's your lowest.
Mhm.
That's something that you really have to be very conscious of. You have to put in a lot of effort to really execute it. But it's called introverted intuition. It's being able to really be like future forward and think deeply about like analyzing something and being able to make connections and patterns based off of like your inner experiences, what you're getting, like the information you're getting.
Mhm.
I'm sure you've experienced some people being able to like think of something random based off of like 10 different pieces of data.
Right.
That's basically making connections. Do
Mhm.
you feel like being able to maybe utilize efficiency, productivity, and like thinking a little bit more in detail and future forward has been hard?
Yeah, and I actually think that's why we work so well together. He's like the admin logistics guy, and I'm the guy that like, this is a vision, this is a
Yeah.
dream, and then he helps me actually like lay all the pieces down.
Yeah,
And then same thing with my partner, my fiance. She's the same way.
like a planner.
Yeah. And I'm more like out there,
Yeah.
but like not get in trouble out there. But you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, but I can't lay the bricks down
Yeah.
by myself all the time.
Yeah, that explains your first two functions. So your first two that you're good at would be extroverted sensing and introverted feeling. So you
Mhm.
basically go throughout your life your main priority and the way you want to enjoy the world is like what's going to be pleasing right now, like
Mhm.
what's going to be fun for me. Meanwhile, still taking in like your core values. So you're really value focused, but also like how can I enjoy the world around me utilizing my values? So that's why you started a nonprofit. Like you get to have fun, you get to interact with the world, interact with people, and like you're staying true to who you are.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Wow. Yeah. Thank you.
Interesting. So what's your question?
So my question is, can somebody's personality change?
I want to say yes and no. I'd say yes because it depends on how they're answering the questions on the test. Like there's so many different biases
Mhm.
you can that can happen, whether it's like where you're taking the test, how stressed you are at the time, like if you're answering in a way that you want to be versus who you are. And so I would just tell people to keep taking it, and whatever results you get multiple times should be the one. I also say no because I think for me, I've always been INFJ. And if I feel any different, I think it's mainly because I'm developing my inferior functions. Like I'm just maturing. Like I'm still thinking the same way and processing information the same way, but I'm just utilizing what I'm like weaker at. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then, because
Yeah.
I feel like in the last 6 months to a year, I've gone through some like really big transitions and
Mhm.
like made some choices that I wouldn't have made like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like for the better of my life,
Mhm.
but it's like sometimes been hard because it's like, yeah, it's just harder, but I'm forcing myself to be more efficient, more productive.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I guess is that just me growing into my weaknesses? But my
Yeah.
personality is technically not changing because I'm still the same
Yeah.
person from 10 years ago.
Yeah. Like you're still gonna, how you want to enjoy the world is, don't you notice it's been the same? Like you
Yeah.
really just,
Yeah, yeah.
when you wake up, you're like, what do I want to do in terms of like, with extroverted sensing, it's like how you use your senses.
Hmm.
So like I know a lot of people that have your personality type, they like love running, they love like swimming, they love just like exercising, which has to do with like feeling, seeing, hearing. They like music. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's you.
I made music for years
Yeah.
and I have a run club. So wow.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, weird.
My other friend who's ESFP has a run club and she's like big on music too. So it's
Wow.
just like shows
Wow.
that you guys are all about like how can I enjoy my senses?
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
I think I'm approaching that time where, you know, marriage and kids is a
yeah
possibility.
yeah
I don't know. I just see so many bad things about it, like people complaining, parents complaining. It's just like my freedom's gone. Wait, they keep
It's
telling
really
me
hard.
wait. Oh.
It's really hard, but as long as you appreciate what's happening, I think it's good.
Do you feel like you're able to keep the spark alive?
Yeah. With my wife,
Mhm.
yeah. We talk about it a lot. So if there is like a downtime or whatever, we'll talk about it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because it's like in relationships, this is the person you're gonna be with every single day. Like
Yeah.
to me, as an introvert, I like need space. I need my alone time, and for me to know that like this person's gonna be with me every single day for the rest of my life, like that's the biggest decision you'll make. And I just like, I think the way the generation is, it's kind of deterring people from getting married and having kids because like, you know, with social media, they kind of teach you if your person messes up, you could just go find someone else quicker. There's someone more perfect out there because everyone's just posting perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it sucks for dating, for the new generation to start dating because it's like no one commits anymore. But luckily, I feel like you guys and a little bit of me, where we still keep like the old school, old fashioned way of love in mind and knowing that like love is hard, but it's worth it if you guys are committed.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I was talking to my wife's nephews,
Uh-huh.
and they're like 21, 23. They're dating. I feel like everyone wants
A
that type of
relationship.
relationship, but it is like social media and all the access to whatever you want to do
Mm-hmm.
that is messing people up, I guess. But yeah, for my wife and I, we always talk about there's times where I need like a day or an hour to go to the gym or whatever, and she needs to go to yoga or dance or whatever. So as long as we talk about it, it's all good. But if you stop talking about it, we've seen relationships not work.
Yeah, that's what, even with MBTI, like extroversion versus introversion, and there's functions too that are responsible for like needing variety, getting bored too quickly when it comes to people. And so to me, I like to use MBTI to kind of gauge like if that person, let's say they're with me, if they need that like stimulation from other people. Because I could think like, oh, they just want to flirt around and talk to other people, but in reality, some people need like other connection, but it could be like completely platonic. So as like in a relationship, I think, how are you guys able to, don't you feel like as a man, if you were with the same woman all the time, like, do you ever feel like, oh, when I talk to another woman or other people or you're around something new, you're like, oh, this is exciting, or not really?
For sure. Yeah. Like, but I'm just like, I've always been like that, like talking to people, like when we go on vacation, she knows like I make friends with like everybody at the hotel, you know, and like connect with people, but it hasn't led to like cheating or anything like that. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love connecting with people, but I always want to go back to the person that I know is like, she knows everything about me. I know everything about her. So it doesn't, it's cool to meet someone new and like connect with them. But it's different when you're with somebody for so long and you have kids together. That's a whole different thing.
Like that's your
Like,
person.
This is a connection.
Dang.
The child is a connection that you're not going to get with someone else unless you have 20 kids with 20 different people. But there are people like that. Not me.
Shout out to the wifey.
Yeah. And that's what we've talked about is like, again, for me, like I go out, make friends, hang out with people, but like, I have like the best partner in the world. So like, that's what I'm grateful for, you know? And so we really learned like living through COVID. I had a lot of friends break up with their girlfriends during COVID.
So they can't handle the...
And it's so weird. Like we both worked, she worked remote and then I do this full time. So we were in a 1-bedroom apartment for like 2 years together and like traveled all over, and like we didn't get tired of it, which is interesting though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I do crave connection, and like he knows that when we go
Yeah.
out, and she knows that too, which is really cool. Like when we go out, she can stay with the group and she knows I like pop around and
Yeah.
I'm at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, but it just works, you know, because we like
Wow.
communicate.
Aw.
But interesting.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my wife is opposite of me. Your fiance is opposite
Yeah.
of you. I think, yeah, you can't be with
You can't be with the same.
the same person.
Can't.
So yeah, what you're studying, does it show that opposites really do attract?
I think so. Yeah. Like, it's crazy because I even study compatibilities within the MBTI, and I know what signs I'm most compatible with. I don't take it to heart where I'm like, this is who I have to marry, but
Mhm.
I do study like, okay, this, I do admire this in somebody. And so my boyfriend now, like, we just, same thing, like the first day we met, we actually met on a podcast. So
Oh,
our
wow,
first
nice.
date was like, we got to get deep and really just like bounce back and forth, banter, and it was just so smooth. And I felt like, I really feel like, I don't know, I just felt something. And through time, I was able to see everything was just clicking. And I didn't even pressure the MBTI test on him until later on. And when he took it, it happened to be the personality type that is most compatible with mine, like according to research.
Mhm.
And so it just kind of showed validity, like, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's opposite of you.
He's opposite. Sorry, I didn't really answer the question.
No, that's cool.
I was like telling a story,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's more like logical, very bigger picture. I'm more like, let's get deep and like see the little details.
Mhm.
Very like, I like to get deep, and he's like very logical and big picture. I'm a feeler and get deep. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that you share that with so many people, because I'll be honest, growing up, and then especially when I was like in my early 20s playing music, I thought like my dream was to like date a musician or a dancer, an actress, right? Because we'd like create music and tour the world,
Yeah.
and you know. And then so my fiance, he knows her really well. She's completely opposite. She like has a big girl job and she's very like responsible, and not that she's not creative, like she does like fitness stuff and everything, but it's like a different
It's like
thing.
structured.
It's very structured, yeah. So it's not something I ever thought I would be into, but like here we are about to get married in 6 months,
Yeah.
and like super stoked about it.
Yeah, if you
So
think
it's
about it,
just
she
interesting.
needs like the fun. She need like everyone who's
Yeah.
like that. You don't want to be so like confined. You want to
Mhm.
let loose and be free. And you know, there's certain personalities that like bring it out of you, or bring it out of me. And I think I'm a little bit like you, where I'm just like pleasure driven. I'm like, I want to have fun. Like I want to be daydream and think about my feelings. But my boyfriend's very like let's think objectively. Like
Mhm.
how can we make this practical? And like, and
Yeah.
so we all need that.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
opposites attract.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So you're gonna tell me what I'm
Oh
great
yeah.
at? What am I great at?
Yeah. All right. So your functions. So your first function's extroverted feeling. And then your next function, that's second strongest, is introverted intuition. So extroverted feeling is opposite of, you have introverted feeling. So introverted feeling is more like internal, you're based off your personal values. And extroverted feeling is opposite, where you're focused more on your external world. Like, how can I don't want to call it a people-pleasing function, but
It is.
it's very like, how can I make everyone comfortable? How can I make this space harmonious? Like, how can I make him happy, her happy? Do you feel like,
For sure.
yeah,
For sure. Ever
Yeah.
since I was a kid, that's the way I was.
yeah. You probably realize through time
Yeah.
to not be so generous. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to still be that way, but like a little bit more
Yeah.
protective of your energy.
I guess the past year, 2 years, yeah, I need to take care of myself some more before I take care of everyone else.
Which, just to hop in real quick, I'm surprised I didn't get that trait, because
Yeah.
that's where me and him did a lot of good together, but also hurt ourselves.
Yeah.
And which is why I was asking, can personalities change? Because I feel like, and maybe that's why I score different, is because I forced myself to change the last 6 months. Not that I don't give,
Yeah.
I still have the charity, I still do things, but like
Yeah.
I had to put myself first. I had to put my fiance first before
Yeah.
all of this stuff, you know? So just interesting.
That is
Did you
true.
notice he was good at that?
And
Like good at
People pleasing.
people pleasing?
yeah, I think that's why we jumped in.
Yeah,
and-
we were both really good at people pleasing. I think I'm still like okay with people pleasing, especially because I have kids and family.
Mhm.
He probably doesn't want to please anybody no more.
Like,
it's
it
more
sounds
like,
so bad
yeah,
saying
it's
that
more
out
your
loud.
values. Like, what does Brody feel? And
Right.
what does Brody?
Which is what I was dealing with the other day.
Yeah.
Like, wow, it's crazy. Just internal talk we had
Yeah.
about like a really hard situation. It's like, I'm trying to not give a fuck,
Mhm.
but I actually still do. But I don't want to, because giving a fuck doesn't help my mental health. It doesn't help my journey.
Yeah.
So am I trying to change myself? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, he's basically the past year we've tried to take our energy away from pleasing everyone else to just pleasing ourselves while also helping people.
Help spreading
Yeah.
good as much as we can, but through the different avenue. Like we talked about, this started as like, how
Yeah.
do we donate? Now it's about like spreading good in
Yeah.
other ways,
Yeah.
right? Through your passion,
Yeah.
right?
I think that's
Yeah.
what's kind of a little bit hard is like, for example, you guys have the feeling
Mhm.
function at the top for you guys, where you need to utilize a little bit of like, I don't want to say logic, but like logic is the easiest word. Like you would think logically, let's not do that. Even though
Mhm.
your heart tells you to, like logically, it might not be good for the business. Logically, the budget, it's not going to fit the budget.
Mhm.
So I think that's why I love the MBTI, is knowing if it's not a strong suit, you're going to really be conscious of it to like work on it. So like, I think introverted thinking is actually the last on your list, like, which is responsible for logic,
Like
the last
weakness?
function, the weakest.
Oh, okay.
Would you say
Yeah.
that?
Wait, what does that mean? That means
It's
thinking
so
of myself?
introverted thinking is basically responsible for. I want to give you like a good definition. Let me find it. I have a bunch of notes written down on it. So introverted thinking. So it's focusing on understanding and analyzing kind of like your own inner thoughts and data, like observable data in the world that you're able to like analyze for yourself. So it's responsible for you being able to take in kind of what's going on and not using your feeling function and just strictly going based off of like what would make sense.
Yeah.
What would make sense, thinking like just strictly logical.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's my weakest. I always have to insert my feelings into everything. Even if I know logically I probably should do X, if I really feel like I want to do Y, I'm gonna do Y.
Yeah.
So
Like you're like,
yeah.
how is this gonna be good for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I have another question. Our intern, Brett,
Yeah.
he is INTJ.
To
And
me,
does that mean he's completely opposite of Brody?
yeah, so I was gonna say, it's probably great to have him on the team. I'm just going based off of his functions. He's probably like, let's get this done. Like, let's hurry up. He's probably not beating around the bush, just says it how it is able to like see different nuances of details to be like, to maybe catch things you guys aren't seeing.
Yeah.
But I think based off of knowing his function stack, extroverted thinking, which is responsible for like productivity and efficiency. Oh, is he over there?
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
get Brett on set.
Yeah.
Come here, Brett, come here.
You are
I can
INTJ.
I can
Yeah.
kind of see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's. Yeah, sit
Want
over
to
here.
sit?
Have
Yeah.
a seat.
I can kind of see it when I talk to him.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi.
We're talking good about you. We're
Awesome.
saying some positives about you.
Nice.
So I kind of broke them down and told them their cognitive functions of the MBTI and their weaknesses and strengths, and they've agreed so far. But I wrote down your top 2 functions, which is called introverted intuition and extroverted thinking. Do you know the MBTI?
Only a little bit.
Only a little bit. So I don't know. I don't want to get into it like too much, but I basically was telling them that based off of knowing their personalities, you're a great asset to the team because of how different you are from them and how, opposites attract when it comes to relationships or working with people. And your function stack, aka like the traits that you're good at and the way your mental processes are, is completely, it's like flipped based off.
Right, I was
what
the complete
theirs is.
opposite.
Yeah.
Already. I was wondering if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, I
It's a
mean,
great
no, it's
thing.
a
You
great
guys are
thing.
compatible.
It's
You
a
guys
great
could
thing
get married
because you
and
can
stuff.
fill in. Yeah, you can fill in his blind spots and bring a more like logical eye and point of view to things, and like efficiency, productivity, and being able to kind of like absorb different data around you and then combine it to make the most logical decision would be your strong suit that I think INTJs are really good at.
Sounds right.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Like you're probably more just like quiet and an observer, but you're taking in like hundreds of things at once. And then you're going to, when you do talk, it's like gold, right?
That's
That's
Brett.
him.
It might not be gold.
Yeah.
No, it's gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we play pickleball together. 'Cause-
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The perfect duo.
No, this is great. This is cool
Yeah.
because it's cool to hear it all laid out. Have you ever done a personality test before like this?
But yeah, I took it. That's why I know I'm INTJ.
Oh no, before this. I'm saying like, did you do another one?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, this is the
Okay.
first time. Yeah.
You should look into it. I think based off what I read, INTJ is also, I'm an INFJ. A lot of people tend to feel weird. Like I felt weird because the way I view the world and what I like to talk about is just so different from what I think the average girl likes to do or talk about. And once I found out about the MBTI, I was able to feel like at home and make sense of why I am the way I am and like really find what personalities I'm most compatible with and like gravitate towards them and really be able to grow as a person knowing that the people around me are like we're compatible and they help me like appreciate my strengths but also like understand my weaknesses.
Is it usually that you're most compatible with an exact opposite of you? No.
Oh, not the exact opposite, but I think based off of like your function stack, I'm gonna have to explain it to you later, but like there's functions that really are compatible. And I think, let's say it's completely opposite. If you're open minded and able to appreciate the differences, then anyone can work well together. I don't want to say compatibility is like, oh, this sign and this sign are only work well together.
Right.
I think it's really like being aware and appreciating differences. But there is some research on like very specific signs that work well together.
Well, just
Yeah.
interesting to me because it's like Brett doesn't even know it this deep, but I've like been talking to like some of my friends that don't live here about
Yeah.
Brett because
Yeah.
it's such a cool story because we've had interns for years.
Yeah.
All great interns, you guys all rock.
Yeah.
But like we've never, I don't want to say never, but it hasn't been like Brett. We're like, yo, this kid's dope. Like and there's actually like, he's really different from us. There's like a lot of things that I feel like I didn't even know that could work, but it's like,
Yeah.
he's probably the best guy we've ever had in here. We've had some like big wins the last couple months together. So
What
I
are
don't know,
you?
it's just
What is he
cool.
interning for? Or
we'll
It
see.
was accounting.
Was accounting,
Oh.
but
And
now he's a viral
Instagram
influencer.
famous.
I mean, I
Yeah.
do both.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I still do account.
He's the biggest influencer on the team right now.
wow.
Yeah, brand deals. So check this
Yeah.
guy out.
Hey, you know what's
turned
crazy?
Use
Filipino.
code Brett at checkout.
What's crazy is your first function is his weakest. So like maybe you guys can like
What's
talk
my
about
weakest?
your weakest is extroverted sensing. So that means like being able to take in data. Or you're taking in data, but like being able to like live in the moment is what I mean. Are you still not that good at that? Like you're constantly thinking of maybe other things versus living in
I'm
the present
constantly
moment?
thinking of other things, but I wouldn't say that I'm terrible at living in the moment.
Okay. The
I
confidence.
like living in the moment, but I like multitasking.
Okay.
Doing both.
Okay. Maybe like stopping to smell the roses type of living in the moment. Like, do you feel like you're able to just like sit and enjoy like colors or what you're eating or for what it
I
is?
feel like I don't most of the time, but not that I can.
Yeah. It's not like you can't, but it's not a priority, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But
Yeah,
that's
I feel
something
that.
you do like basically naturally, right?
Yeah. I
Interesting.
think it's very
Yeah.
interesting. So what if me and Brett were the exact same? The reality is he probably wouldn't be sitting here right now, right?
Probably.
That's interesting. No, because it's just interesting because I feel like I bet other like hype people, not that Brett's not hype, but you know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
people that like, oh my gosh, we're the exact same. And then like they ended up just being an intern or they ended up just being somebody we worked with a little bit.
Yeah.
Like no bad blood, but like, dude, we like love this guy. We're like, yo, Brett's got to come back, you
Yeah.
know? And we like kept working with him.
Yeah.
And then it's just interesting how it all works
Yeah.
out. So the
Yeah.
data doesn't
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
Because I feel like, let's just say there was a bunch of Brodies. Don't you feel like
Right.
you would get
It would-
annoyed. You
yeah.
would not like it, bro.
Damn.
I would
Y'all
think
annoyed with me?
I
Hey,
would-
if it was a bunch of me, I'd be annoyed. I'd leave.
it'd just be all fun. Like
Yeah.
all fun, and then someone's gonna have to come in and be like, guys, like, let's go.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But thanks.
Yeah.
We-
Well, yeah. Keep
Yeah.
up the good work, Brett. Yeah.
Thanks, Brett. This is Brett, by the way.
Yeah. This is Brett.
This is a great episode.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
love
just
it.
flowing. It's cool.
Yeah, ENFJ. So I looked at it last night.
Ooh.
It said people who are also ENFJ.
And who
Famous
was it?
people. Barack Obama, Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey. I forgot who else. But let's see who else is ESFP.
I could see that. I could see a little Oprah in you.
Who do you think is a ESFP?
Other INFJs, tell me if you think it relates to me, but it was for me, like Martin Luther King or like Gandhi. It was like all the activists.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not looked mine up. So
I looked yours up. Yours was Justin Bieber.
that's literally perfect.
See?
That's
I knew it.
crazy. I used to watch that movie every day.
Elvis, Miley Cyrus, Nicki Minaj,
The
Will
performers.
Smith.
So
Yeah,
great.
all the performers.
Wow.
Beyonce.
Hey. Do you see
like
that?
Yeah, I mean that's what I've always been. That's crazy. Validating for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Nice.
Wait, who's
So we
an
got
INTJ?
Gandhi, Oprah, and Justin Bieber here.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Who is an INTJ?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk? Karl Marx?
So do you think taking this test and getting the data and believing in the data can catapult you in a completely different direction?
I think a lot of people say like, oh, if I read the results, do you ever just mold yourself to that?
Mhm.
And right, like some people can just be like, oh, I'm ESFP, so let me like live exactly like an ESFP.
Mhm.
I think for me, I would want people to use it more of an awareness tool to know what they're weak in.
Mhm.
So I think it can catapult you in a different direction if you're able to read what you're weak at and then think about it. You don't want to just assume you are, really analyze your behaviors. And if you know, like, oh, I could work on that,
Mhm.
then always like just keep it in mind when you're making a decision. So if like you're making a decision and you know that logic or taking in observable data and like living in the moment is not your strong suit, I think being able to still utilize like your strong functions, but then remember to take into account the other ones, you'll make like a more balanced decision
Well-rounded. Yeah.
overall. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what would you say for me to make a better decision? I need to be more introverted. What is it?
You have to utilize your extroverted thinking and
Extroverted thing.
you need to utilize, your extroverted sensing and your introverted thinking.
Extroverted sensing. Introverted thing. All right.
So basically utilize a little bit of what Brody's first function is, which is living in the moment, being able to enjoy what's in front of you, taking in the details, and then also using your internal logic while still being like so your first function is extroverted feeling, which is all about creating a good space for everybody, creating harmony. But if you're just constantly pleasing everybody and doing things not for yourself, you're going to burn out. But if you're able to utilize like your introverted thinking, you'll be like, okay, well, logically, like if I do this, I'm probably going to be tired and not be able to function tomorrow, or I wouldn't be able to save up for this trip I'm trying to go on.
Mhm. Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of
It's
sense.
just a lot more thinking,
Yeah.
which people don't do very
Yeah, right.
often.
So what's next for you with this whole
I
thing.
honestly, I hope to use some of this content and like start my MBTI community.
so there's a little
And
career
just-
announcement?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just spread awareness on it. Like, I think it's such an amazing tool. You know, I think I've always wanted to make sense of who I was. People that might feel weird or like an outcast or feel like things just aren't clicking in the real world, I'm able to use. Once I found out the MBTI, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm able to see my flaws, see what I'm weak at, see my blind spots.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really helped me understand myself and build my relationships with people, give people grace, give myself grace, and just understand that like we all have different perspectives. We're all so different, and there's no need to compare. Just like appreciate.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
like that. I
Awesome.
like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. This was I
Yes.
feel like this episode's gonna keep going after this because
Yeah.
I feel like this is
I got so many questions
the
about
same. I
myself.
got so many questions. This is crazy. I'm about to
Part two.
we need to
Let's do
have more
part
people.
two.
So Katie, my fiance, had this idea when we started this podcast. She's like, Nick should get Shell, his wife,
Yeah.
and Ion, we should do a couples pod episode and take a personality test. Or what'd she say? A love language
Love
test or
language.
something and analyze it
That'd be
together.
so fun.
We've been so busy we haven't gotten to it.
That'd be so fun.
But maybe you could be the
the
what's it called?
facilitator.
Yeah, facilitator.
Yes,
Yeah.
that'd
Yeah.
be so fun.
That's so cool.
Let's do it.
Yeah, no, we'll have to
Yeah.
make that happen. Make that happen. But thank you so much for this episode.
Yeah,
This
of
is so cool.
course. That was fun.
Learned a lot
Yeah.
about everybody in the room today.
Yeah.
And where can people find more about what you're about to launch?
So I haven't thought of exactly what platform yet, but you guys can find me on my Instagram. I have that one or my nutrition one.
We're gonna drop them both right here,
Yeah.
and right here.
I'm like,
But awesome. Well, thank you so much again for being here.
Thank
Great
you.
episode,
Yeah.
man. I'm just stoked. So if you, I'm sorry, I'm really just like it's so
I'm just
cool.
thinking about
Me
my-
too.
my answer today.
Crazy.
that's my specialty. Get you guys to think.
Yeah, I'm gonna be just
Whenever I get people to
days.
think,
Yeah.
I'm like,
So if you like what you saw, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and
Smash the bell.
back to smashing the bell button. Follow
Smash.
Tiyah and spread good, baby.